Good afternoon. This is Debbie Broughton, your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from St. Robert, Missouri. I'm jumping on here today to do day 9 of our fabulous February fun folds, and I'm very crooked today. So let's just see if we can fix this. I was trying to see if I could see more of the bottom of the mat because sometimes I tend to work at the bottom and then you can't see. Oh, just a little bit more. It's a nice sunny day today here in Missouri. We're going to get very warm this afternoon, which is so strange because last Wednesday night, it was -6 for the temperature. And now today I think we're supposed to get really close to 70. If you're joining me, if you could comment, that would be great. Then I know some people are watching. Okay, now I think we are pretty straight. So today, last week when I couldn't go anywhere and I was stuck in the house because of the snow, it was really easy to make 4 cards a day and do a video and get it to YouTube. But now that my life's back to normal, I'm running errands and stuff. So today I didn't get a chance to put these cards together, but I did get them cut because I wanted to stamp for this first one. And so I didn't want to put it together until I could stamp it with you. And then I did this one where I will show you how you could do it without stamping. So the name of this fold is Joyful Fun Fold. I'm not sure why it's joyful, but that was the name of it. I found it on Stamp with Amy K's YouTube site. So I decided to try it. And we're trying out some new, starting in March, we're getting some new online exclusives, which is always fun. And one of the new items is going to be this textured notes dies. And look at these rectangles. All of them have a different texture for your border. So we're going to try out 2 of them today. This one and this one. And we'll see what they look like when we actually cut them out. And we'll be working with them, but they're just so much fun. They just have all these different little squiggly lines. These kind of look like little scallops. These look like stitching. So we will try these out maybe tomorrow and see what all the different ones look like. But for today, we're going to do just these 2. This third from the largest and the second from the smallest. And again, that starts, I want to say, either March 4th or 5th. So just next week, because tomorrow's the end of celebration. So if you have something that you want to, one of the celebration items you want to get for free, put an order in today for $60 before shipping and handling, and you can pick one out for free. There's even things from the annual catalog in there. So you might want to check that out as the last chance offer until they're gone forever. So this is our card base. Look at, I was going to say, look how nice it laid so flat, but it didn't quite yet. So we kind of did a card like this earlier in the week, but it was a vertical card, and this is horizontal. So it's the same idea, but just a different configuration and different things to go on there. So this is our, what I call the small card. And I don't know if you noticed, but I accidentally scored mine wrong at 4 1/4, but that's going to get glued down so nobody will ever know. It's going to kind of go in here like this. And this is where your message and everything will go, and your greeting will go outside here. So So let's get some pieces put together so we can see what this is going to look like. This is the inside. These are my scraps because I'm going to stamp some things to cut out. So let's start. We're going to put these Early Espresso panels on the Poppy Parade cardstock. And these panels are, I have my notes right here today, so I don't have to look them up on the computer. The Poppy Parade is 4 1/4 by 8 1/2, and it's scored at 5 1/2. I also have these in Nana's stamping room in a post, but I'm just going to go over them while we're here. And then the second one, this card is 3 by 9 scored at 4 1/2. Then we have these panels, which are 4 by 5 1/4, which is our usual card front. And then 2 3/4 by 4. So much math. So let's get these glued down first. We're going to see how far this bottle of glue can go today because I know it's getting low. But I have another one waiting. Might as well just put some on this one while I have it open. Okay. So we're going to add this to the inside. Even all the way around. And then we're going to have this piece over here. So now there we have our two mats on. So let's go ahead and put on our DSP. This is the one I saved for the envelope. So I'm just going to put it up there because we don't need it right now. So this one's going to go here. And this one's going to go here on the front. This just has one of those very narrow borders. Just enough to give it a little highlight. And the same with this on the outside. When you're cutting these, you just have to be careful that when you're cutting something that goes one direction, you have to be sure that you're cutting it correctly, because the first piece I cut, the mushrooms would have been going sideways or something because I forgot to look at that. I can still use it for other things. In fact, I kind of used it for this front piece. It's just I wasn't paying attention when I was cutting it. Oops, almost put that one on upside down. Okay, now we have everything finished on the bottom on card number 1. And we're going to start working on card number 2, which is this piece. First of all, this is the inside. And I'm pretty sure that I probably have some paper left over here. Except for the mushrooms might be going sideways. Let me just see. Oh, I have a piece here where I can cut off just a little bit to fit down there. Let me get my cutter. I just like to decorate the whole card. And that way at the end of the year when this paper retires, I don't have all these little pieces. I try to use them up over the year. I'm going to go 3/4. So that we can get a whole, and I keep calling these mushrooms, they're toadstools. They're very pretty toadstools. So let's put this at the bottom. I didn't bother to trim it for the length because I'm just going to cut it off after I get it laid down here. This still leaves you enough to write a little message, and if you want to write more, you could always put another white piece on the back if you had a long message. So there we go. And so this will fit in here. Now we're going to work on this outside. So I was watching a video, and you know how yesterday I said this is kind of like dull compared to all the other sides of the DSP for the toadstools? But then someone said they think this is like inside of a mushroom, like this part. And I think that they're right. So it's like the stem and the underneath of the toadstool. That was their thought. And now since they said that, I can see, because these all have little specks of dark early espresso and then the light early espresso. And I am going to try our new rectangle here, the textured notes. Now when I put measurements on the post-it measurements today, I measured how big it would be if I didn't use the the die. But you might have like the radiating dies or the decal rectangles. So you could get close to this, and that would be 2 7/8 by 4 3/4. That would get you close to being the right size for the panel. Then I just remembered I can't cut this out yet because I have to stamp. And if I stamp the edge after, I'll get bumps in it. So let me just get the part that I wanted to stamp here first. Looking for my Granny Apple Green. Here we go. Here we have an ink block or a stamp block. We're going to do this grass here. Whoops, it's just a little bit too long. I'll have to use this block. So we're going to put some grass on this edge of the paper here. We're going to kind of like stamp a picture with the toadstool stamps. I just ordered some new Granny Apple Green refill because my Granny Apple is getting very dry. So you kind of have to move it around a lot to be sure. Sorry about that. Okay, so I'm just gonna, one good thing of having the photopolymer stamps is that you can see right through them, so it's kind of easy to stamp with them to find your place. So there we go. Now I can go cut it out with the rectangle, the textured notes rectangle. Oh, now I got this stuck in my... cutter. All right. All right, here we go. And can you see, if I hold this up, you might be able to see exactly the little dashes and the lines that it put around the rectangle. I'm trying to look. Yep, you can kind of see them. So if I would have stamped second, then it might have got lumpy and things from trying to stamp over that ridge. Excuse me. So next we're going to just go to town stamping. We're going to get the toadstool set out here. And we are going to do this. First of all, we're just going to take this off while we're taking things on and off. We're going to take this one, which is like the stems for 3 mushrooms, and we're going to take toadstools. Take these 3 toadstools, which will fit right on top. So we're going to do that in pumpkin pie and early espresso. Hold on, I have a smaller. I could put this on here. For the stem. And we're just going to kind of put it right down here. This is just why I love the photopolymers so much, because they're so easy to line up. And we're going to take these 3 small toadstools. If you wanted to do them each in a different color, you could with your Stampin' Write markers. But I'm just going to have them all be pumpkin pie. Oh, and I missed a little bit of that one. Let's see if we can get it. There we go. So, now, let me clean these stamps so that I don't get a ton sitting here out on blocks and then I'll lose them. This one is going to take a little while to make, but I think it'll be worth it when you see it in the end. Oh, and don't look how dirty my chamois is. It looks dirty, but it's just stained from using it so much. Okay, so now we're going to get out our Pipe Parade and our Melon Mambo. We're going to put these other colors. We're going to leave out Early Espresso because we're still going to need that for some stems. But we're going to start out here with the Pipe Parade and the Melon Mambo. So I'm going to take this large toadstool cap and I'm going to put it on here, and I did have some scrap white that I had out with this card. Let me look. I even showed it to you when we started stamping. See, this is what happens. All these things. Oh, here it is, right here underneath some stamping blocks. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to stamp this in Melon Mambo. to take that off. And I'm going to take out the next largest toadstool cap. And I'm going to do it in Poppy Parade. Oops. Sometimes the first time you use a photopolymer, you have static on there, so you have to be sure that it covers it all the way. So there we go. That turned out really nice. And then what we have to put on this piece of scrap are two stems. The large stem and the medium-sized stem. Notice how I have some Poppy Parade down there on my Stampin' Block, so I'm going to wipe that off before I stamp out that Poppy Parade, which won't matter very much right now because I'm going to cut out the stems, but we might as well not have to do another step. Okay. So I'm thinking we could do these both at one time. Put them both on here. We're going to try. Because I'm pretty sure it'll fit on this paper. Yep, it will. So let me open up the early espresso. Tap on here till I get them nice and inked up. And voila, there we have our stems. So it's just going to take me a few minutes. There is a punch, which I did not purchase, and now I kind of think I wish I would have, but these are not very hard to cut out. It would have cut out this big toadstool cap and the small or the medium-sized one there, and it would have cut out the medium-sized stem. But when I was looking at it, I thought, oh, I think that I can probably do a pretty good job of cutting that out pretty easy. But then some people do not like the fussy cut. Now that we have so many dies, it's much nicer. When I first started back in 2003, we had to fussy cut everything that we wanted to put on because there were no dies or die cutting machine. And that did get rather annoying, having to cut everything out all the time. But it gave you good practice for now. I just have too much white here showing. One good thing about the punch is it fills up the whole punch so there's no white around any of the items. You know how sometimes when you punch it out you have a little border? These are just a tad, the punch is just a tad smaller than the toadstools and the stems, so you get the whole piece with no white around it, which makes it easier to line up too when you're lining them up. I'm just going to tear that apart because it's easier for me to have a smaller piece of paper. I know it's kind of boring watching me cut things out, but I was excited to show you how this card looks. And you don't, the next card I'm going to show you, there is really, besides the greeting, there's no stamping, so you do not have to stamp this much. I'm just showing you two different ideas. One with just stamping the greeting, and another one with stamping some things from the stamp set that you choose. So there we go. we are going to put these together. We're just going to put a little dot of mono adhesive here where we want the stem to go, and on this one where we want the stem to go. And we're going to add the stem right in there. And we're going to add this one right in here. We're just going to give that a minute to dry while I get out some dimensionals. I had to order some new mini dimensionals and they were supposed to be here Monday. Hopefully they're going to get here today. The package is kind of lost somewhere between Kansas City and Springfield, which sometimes happens. So we're just going to glue this largest toadstool right to the paper. And then we are going to take this one and add some dimensionals so it can be like in front of it. I don't need many ones. I might have to cut one in half for the stem. Let me see. I think maybe I can use the, you know, it's nice to use the outer edges too, because they work just as well as the octagon piece. Okay, I only need one of them. And it fit on there just perfect. And it's fit right on my finger perfect too. Okay. Now we're going to pop this one up like right here. So now we're getting close to getting ready to put this onto the middle card and be finished, except for we need a greeting. So I have this piece, it's way too big, and I'm going to use this die cut to cut it out, but I like to stamp first. So I'm going to use our white embossing powder. It is great, this new embossing powder. It's called Opaque Bright White, and it is very bright. So I'm going to stamp on this paper with the with Versamark on the ink pad. Let me get the words out. Okay, when I stamp this, I want to kind of go up from the bottom a little bit and in from the side because I know I want to fit that die on there. After you use your photopolymer stamps with red or Melon Mambo or any shade of red, they're going to get stained red. It's just something about the color. So let me put this on here. And even though I have my embossing buddy sitting right here, I forgot to use it. But that's okay. So now we're going to sprinkle our embossing powder as soon as I can get hold of it. And you may think this looks like a little jar, but I'm telling you, it lasts forever. Because you don't really use that much every time you do some words. I think that maybe, okay. I have just a little bit that's up here. See, if I would have used the embossing buddy, it would have helped get the static off the paper. And I think maybe I see a little bit right here. I'm going to try to get there. So we're going to use the same embossing powder for the next card. So I'm just going to not clean that out yet and set it somewhere where I'm not going to spill it. I'm going to run this over to my heating tool, and I'll be right back. Okay, I must have touched it or something on the Y a little bit, but I'm pretty sure that's all right. I might change it later. But for right now, we're going to just cut it out with this die. So let's see what kind of a pattern this die put. Can you tell it's kind of like little up and down little mountains all around it? So we're going to pop this up right here. Man, I maybe could have put my orange toadstools a little bit higher. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. Okay, now we're ready to glue this to our little card on the front. See if I have it straight. I kind of have to hold it up to see if I'm straight. That looks pretty good. Then we already have our inside decorated. So we're ready to glue this to the main card base. So we're going to open up this flap and we're going to glue this in, and we want to kind of center it up and down. And left to right, because it'll all fit underneath that flap. Did you see that? I didn't let this dry long enough, and I just moved the whole piece. And now it's acting like it's never going to come up again. Although you did come up to move. I do not want to have to make this whole piece over again. I can't believe it got so glued down after it slid. So see, you get to see how I can repair cards sometimes. I might end up having to cut a whole new basic, or I mean an early espresso piece, but we shall see. I just have a little bit left. So far we haven't torn a hole in it. Okay, looks a little messy there, but when we cover it up, nobody's ever gonna know. It'll just be a secret between us. When you do that, you have to be careful that you don't tear anywhere outside on the border and that you don't tear a hole in either paper. Okay, so here we go again. And this time we are going to not move it. There we go. Now we can get it glued back down. Okay. I really didn't know where to put any ribbon on this one. And I don't really have any Pop and Parade gems or anything, but I can make my own Pop and Parade gems by using our rhinestones. So let's put, I'm just trying to get this down all the way around since I had to tear it up. Okay, so let's use our rhinestones here. We'll use the big ones so we can see them. And we'll put one in this corner. Maybe one over here. And one up in this corner. Lots of times you might want to do this before you pick them off, but since I was in a hurry to show you, I didn't. But now I'm going to change them to Poppy Parade. I have my Poppy Parade Stamped Up Blend pen, and I am going to color the rhinestones Poppy Parade. This works with the blends, but it does not work with the Stampin' Right markers. Isn't that fun? So now you can color your rhinestones, or even if you wanted to, the pearls or something with whatever color you have a blend of. So it opens up the possibilities for lots of different bling. Now I'm looking for my Wink of Stella pen. And I'm going to Wink of Stella the big toadstools. And like yesterday, the Wink of Stella is going to make the Melon Mambo kind of smear, but it's going to be okay. It'll just make the white be like a light pink. So, we will try this. You could try not getting any on the white spots, which I'll try to do that for this one. Except for it's a little hard down here at the bottom. Doesn't seem to be as smearing as much with the Poppy Parade. So there you go. Card number 1, all finished. I really didn't put any ribbon because I just couldn't decide where to put ribbon or what color ribbon. So that's one of the few that I didn't put any ribbon on. Now we are ready to see card number 2. I need to get this die back over here. So let's see. This is the only stamping we're going to do on this card is for the greeting. We're just going to use DSP to make our card beautiful. Okay, I think I have all the pieces. I have the big card base. This is Everyday Skies. It's an online exclusive pack of DSP. It's 6x6. So the only way you can see it is online. When you go to the store online. It also has, when you go online, it has all the items from the mini catalog, the annual catalog, and we also have a list of last chance items, which shows some of them are on sale, some of them are not, but it is things that are retiring, that they won't be around anymore when they sell out. So you can check that out for some great savings. So now we have the big card creased. We'll work here with the little card. This is Azure Afternoon and Petal Pink. So we'll just kind of do what we did last time. Work on the big card first. Now, after I finish this one today, I think I'm going to go back and look. I know I have birds that are flying, like seagulls, in a stamp set, so I'm going to go back and look for that and add some birds flying in the sky on these, because I think that would just set it off so great. Just to have a few birds. See how I did that? Cricket again. Must be my cricket day. It's really hard for me to do when I don't have my head right over it. So I'm just going to kind of pick it up like this so I can see it better. It's a very small border, so sometimes those are difficult for me because I keep thinking I need more to see more border, but I don't because it's a skinny one. There we go. Then this one will go in the back of the card. This one will seem so quick compared to the other one. Lay this back here centered. Isn't that a beautiful sky? That's why I thought if I just got the seagull and put like 3 seagulls in black flying in the sky. So this is the front piece of the main card base. I'm going to have to tap like that now with my glue because it is getting very low. This again is a skinny border. Close this up and slip this on, centering it with the even border all around. Getting an even border is one of the hardest things for me. Sometimes I watch people do videos and they just put it down there and, oh, it's even. Okay, so now we're going to work on the little card, which I have it inside for it, and I know I have some pieces here that I can use to decorate the bottom. Because I have the envelope piece, which is going to be this piece, and then I have this piece left over, And this piece should be just perfect enough for the bottom here. Ah, but it misses it by a little bit. So we'll just have to take one of these envelope pieces and cut it. They're both exactly the same size, so we'll take this one. We're going to cut it at 3/4. Okay, we can kind of decide if we want it this way, where we see some of the blue and some of the white, and I think that would be a good way to do it. Then we see all the colors. Put this right at the bottom edge. And it's going to be too long, but I will just cut it to fit. So this is our inside. You know, where's my piece? Oh, here it is. I thought, oh no, I've lost my piece. So on this one, it's the other side of the same paper that I'm going to use to do the front label. And I'm not going to stamp on it or anything. I'm just going to leave it there and add some words with the Versamark and the embossing powder for the front of it. I guess I could have cut this with this again, but I forgot. So, this might be just a tad too, it's going to be just a tad of a border, because when I use the die, it's just makes it a little bit smaller. So we'll just be very careful that we get a border all the way around it. There we go. Okay, then I have a piece of the blue Azure Afternoon, and I'm going to stamp Happy Birthday with the Versamark. And then I'm going to put the embossing powder on, not with Early Espresso, with Versamark. And then I'm going to put the white embossing powder, and it should like really pop on this blue. So I'm going to do the embossing buddy, like you should always do before you emboss, to take away the static. I think it has cornstarch in there. And it just kind of rubs it a little bit on. That way you don't get any flakes all over. So we're going to say happy birthday. That looks good. Put my lid on my Versamark so I don't get any embossing powder in it. Find my tray again. Here it is. Now I'm going to kind of tear this a little bit because this is so long and I know I'm not going to need it that long. Just so I could even just pick up what's left in the tray here without opening the bottle again. Because I'm telling you, you don't use very much at all. Just what sticks to those little letters. Okay, I think that looks good. Sometimes I take it and go like this to get off any extra that might be sticking on the cardstock. So there we go. Happy birthday. Let me go heat it up. I'm going to use this same die here to cut it out with. Here we go. I don't bring my heating gun over here to the desk because I think it would be so loud on the video. Put this, you know what, I have this little brush and this comes off and then you just brush it all down there and I'll put it all back into the jar later. It's a very handy tool. It also comes with a pair of reversible tweezers and the little brush and stuff. It's pretty handy. So now we're going to take this piece, which is our middle, and we're going to pop this up. But I think that first I have some petal pink ribbon that I'm going to use. This ribbon retired a while ago, but I still have a little, and it will look so nice on this card. So first I'm going to get my tearing tape. And I'm going to put some pieces on the back. And I'm going to put two pieces on my hand, so that after I get it laid out, I won't have to tear off more. Herbie, what are you doing? My dog is walking around looking for something to get into while I am... All right, I'll have to find that pointy piece later. Sometimes he gets bored and then he just looks for something that he could get to chew on. So I think we're going to kind of bring this up here and do a loop. And then we're going to do another loop. And I think maybe that looks pretty good. Just some loop ribbon behind it. We could always do more. Let's see if we put two more. One more at the top and one more at the bottom. There we go. So now, see, this is why I have these waiting in the wings, so that I can just press them down. And I will cut that ribbon. Here. Hey, Herbie, come here. There we go. I like the way this one turned out. This one turned out pretty good. But somehow I got some black smudges on my cloud. I'm going to see if I can get rid of that if it doesn't get hidden when I glue this down. We're going to center this right in the middle. And it'll cover up where I saw those black spots. If not, I have a little eraser that sometimes will take that on. Now, doesn't this look beautiful? Now we could just add some gems. I know I laid some over here. Well, let me see if I have some more. I just had a few of these like light blue glitter ones that looked really good with it. But I should have put them in a better place because they were so little they probably got stuck on something. Okay. We'll go with these. These are very pretty too. Let's see if these look too green. No, I think they're going to kind of pick up the blue from the paper. We're going to put like a little triangle down here. Well, that one's too far away. There we go. So there, we found some blue ones that will go with it. And like I said, I might go back and try to find one of my seagull stamps. And actually, there's not going to be very much room now. Over here, there'll be some room. Well, I hope you had fun making this or watching me make the Joyful Fun Fold. And when you make some, post them and share them with everyone because everybody likes to see some new ideas. Have a wonderful afternoon. Happy stamping.